Hi everyone, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amber.
And we're
Witches Talking Tarot.
And today we're going to be discussing one of my personal favorite witchy holidays, which is Yule. Speaking of Yule, Amber, you are a lot more Christmas Yule-y dressed than I am. I don't have any. I don't have any.
75% of my winter wardrobe is Christmas clothes. So like usually as soon as it gets cold after Halloween's over, I'm in the Christmas clothes. This year I told Corey, because he can't stand that, I told him I'd wait until after his birthday. But after his birthday it was fucking cold, so I've been wearing my Christmas clothes. I do love my Christmas clothes. This is my favorite Christmas sweater and one of my only ones. It's Don't Hate on My Xmas music. Because yes, I listen to Christmas carols unironically.
I love
Christmas music.
Like, I identify as
pentatonics.
Right? Fuck yeah, dude. Like,
every time.
Look, I am a pagan Hellenic witch. You can ask some of my relatives how witchy I am, and they won't be too happy to inform you I'm pretty witchy. That being said, give me some Christian Christmas music, guys. I know I hate it, but at the same time, Mary, did you motherfucking know? Like, Mary, did you know?
Give me some Slavic Christmas music, because Carol of the Bells, it's a Ukrainian song.
Dun, 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 dun.
And it's my favorite. It's one of my fucking favorites.
I don't know if we'll get shut down.
Oh yeah.
You know how that
but
works.
Like seriously, like outside of Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies, Carol of the Bells is one of my favorites.
Oh my God, Nutcracker.
The Nutcracker Suite.
I love Nutcracker.
I love the Nutcracker.
Okay, is Nutcracker the one that goes dun 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 dun? Or how is it?
Sugar Plum. The Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy is like it's the one that's like. I
always
anyway, we don't want to get shut down, so we're going to
sorry.
But I'm going to go ahead and, even though the podcast seems to not enjoy them, probably throw in a clip or two of these songs that we're referencing.
Maybe we'll make like a little Spotify.
I will.
Oh my God!
100%.
Amber and Maddie's Christmas playlist.
Yes! Oh my God!
Yes! I'm so excited.
We will bring you that when this episode comes out. Like by the time the episode's released, we will have compiled our Christmas playlist on Spotify.
And there will be Christian and there will be non-religious.
Right.
Like Let It Snow isn't a religious
absolutely
one.
No. And there'll be Amber's favorite, Baby Please Come Home by Darlene Love, because it's not Christmas without Baby Please Come Home.
Okay.
And the Eagles Christmas song.
I'm gonna be that bitch and say I love Santa Baby.
I absolutely love.
Dude,
okay,
Michael
don't
Bublé.
cancel me, but Baby It's Cold Outside is misinterpreted, and I love
that song.
It's all about what we weren't supposed to be doing.
Like, I do love that song.
I love that song. It's misinterpreted, and I just said that word wrong.
Michael Bublé, who, by the way, I was listening to, am I pronouncing that name right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was listening to him, and I was like, I'm really liking this Michael Bubble guy. And my husband's like, that's Bublé. But his interpretation of Santa Baby, Santa Buddy, yeah, right. You got to be gay when you sing
right.
it.
And look, I am not a fan. I mean, it's okay, but it's no Santa Baby. It is no Eartha Kitt.
Oh,
exactly. I have been using so many Eartha Kitt
Marilyn Monroe
pictures.
version's good too, though.
I have never heard Marilyn Monroe sing it.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I think it's Marilyn Monroe that I always listen to. It's not Eartha Kitt. It's a different one. I'm pretty sure it's the Marilyn Monroe version.
I didn't know she did that. But you know what? Also, you gotta have Brenda Lee. Brenda Lee does Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree from Home Alone, right? And she also has another one that's like a Bayou Christmas song, and I fucking love it. And then there's Marvin Gaye's Purple Snowflakes. It's not Christmas without Purple Snowflakes.
I love.
And I will be interchangeably saying Yule and Christmas, guys.
Me too. Unfortunately,
we celebrate both in my house.
We do too. Yeah. We have family that celebrate Christmas, so we celebrate Christmas. But personally, in our house, we celebrate Yule. Which, by the way, I got a new Kitchen Witch book. I think it's called.
Sorry, I'm using my ice school as a wand.
Oh no, it's okay.
I'm having so much fun. Yeah, I turned yours on too, so you could.
It's called
you might just have to tighten the thing.
It's called Enchanted. Kitchen, yes. I don't know who the fuck it's by. I can't remember. I'll have to look that up.
I didn't see that part.
But I'm reading the December/Yule part of it. And one of the things that I really liked is we always, when we think of Yule and we think of Christmas, we think of Christmas feast. Mm-hmm. Or Yule feast, which is also very important.
Yes.
But she had discussed, for example, if you can't afford a feast, or if you're too stressed about making a feast, make a feast of memories. So it doesn't have to be like a very like intense like, or
your feast doesn't have to be intense. Like my family tradition growing up, and I try to hold the same for both of the feasting holidays we have of Thanksgiving and Christmas, because I was raised, Christian,
right.
So we celebrated Thanksgiving, we celebrated Christmas, and it was traditional, right? But like our thing was, you had a grazing all day until the feast was ready, right?
Exactly.
But you could just do the grazing, and it's good for you. It's just as soul and belly filling.
It's almost like a little buffet.
It's less stress, but it is.
It's like a buffet.
You've got vegetables. You've got the charcuterie board.
Right.
I mean, we did that before. It was called a charcuterie board, but like I grew up with that.
Right.
That both Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or Thanksgiving Day. Like we always did that, and you can do that as your entire meal.
So like for Christmas in my family, and I am referring to Christmas, not Yule, because I'm trying to come up with my own Yule traditions, which is why I'm really glad I read that in that book. I haven't read much more. It's for all the Sabbats, but I'm starting with Yule, because
I love that. Make a feast of memories, because it's when you make Christmas cookies, do it with your kids, and you'll have those memories. Like,
right. Instead of stressing about like this has to be this
it has to be perfect.
Yes.
Right. Like we were talking about before we were filming, the whole like making baked goods for your family members as gifts. And we always did that when my kids were little.
Right,
and they always had a part in it. Either I let them dump the flour cups in, like I measured it and they dumped it.
Yes.
Or I let them learn how to crack eggs, and we did it in the separate bowl, and I picked out the shells. Or, little things like they got to put the sprinkles on and decorate the cookies.
Right, I love
and it's
it.
making memories. Sorry, it clicked. It took a minute to click for me.
No, and it also mentioned...
Sorry, guys, I'm blonde today.
The kitchen during Yuletide and Christmas time as a whole, because it's called Enchanted Kitchen. It's all about kitchen witchery. And the kitchen is in the wintertime at least, not necessarily throughout the whole year, the warmest... It should be, at the very least, the warmest, most inviting part of the home.
Right.
Because it's your hearth.
Right, and it's an integral part of the family. Like, that's where the meals are prepared. That's where the dishes are cleaned or cleansed or purified,
now,
however you want to look at it.
I can see how some people feel that way about in front of the fireplace. But for me, it is the kitchen. And so it was talking about readying the energy in your kitchen for the Yule time, which I thought which is part of why I want to do my own little kitchen cleansing, because I want my kitchen to be, my kids came home from school, they're cold, they're going to go into the kitchen, mom's got like a healthy snack made or whatever, but they're going to go into the kitchen and get like some, I don't know, let's get hot chocolate for the, you know what I mean? Like
there's a little grilled cheese
that's the
and
first
tomato
place
soup.
Kids go after school. You know what I mean? Immediately the kitchen. Like it's just like, it draws people,
For me, the kitchen is always the heartbeat of the house. Like no matter what your practice is, no matter what, I feel like that's just an accurate statement. Now, in my family growing up and in my family that I've raised, I would say, the kitchen and the living room are both accurate for being the heartbeat of the house, where we come together as a family and we enjoy each other's company. Like when my kids were little, we had lots of game nights and stuff. But like Christmas specifically...
Sorry, I'm checking on my son. Go ahead.
It's very family oriented. And we always... When I was a kid, we always had a big meal, right? And it was always traditional, like turkey and ham. I personally loved the movie A Christmas Story. So for like the first 10 years of doing my own Christmas, it was a duck. And so like we do Christmas in my household and we do Yule in my household. My husband did not want to give up Christmas. When I was like, I want to switch to Yule, he's like, okay, we can do Yule, but we're still doing Christmas. But we don't do a Christian Christmas in my house, and we never have. We've always done an American Christmas, because if you look it up, if you Google it, you can find the information on the fact that when Christmas came to America, it was supposed to be non-denominational. It was supposed to be not a religious holiday, but more of a holiday of like celebrating light and celebrating family. No, it's even before capitalism. It was before gifts. It was really like, it was bringing Yule over without upsetting the Protestants, essentially. It was definitely all about like decorating your tree with apples and shit, and having a big feast with your family, and making mittens for your daughter and giving her a new doll because you see that there's hair missing on the one she had, you know, kind of thing. It was pre-capitalism. Now we definitely do celebrate the capitalistic Christmas. My mother always outdid herself every year, and my husband and I are the same way, unfortunately. Every year I try to pull back, and it's still like...
Fucking kids, they do that to you, because you're like, oh, I want this. I want to get them this.
It's just like, okay, so the meme that's like, I realize as an adult, all the Christmas magic I felt as a child was a mom who really loved me. Like, that is my childhood, and that is what I wanted for my kids, too. Also, I believe in the fucking magic of Santa. I 100% believe in Santa magic. Is it next
week that we're talking about Santa Claus?
Next week is Wild Hunt and something else, and then the week after that is Krampus and Santa Claus.
Okay, so we'll be watching the Santa Claus next Saturday.
I think we have it written down.
Okay. We're going to be talking about Santa Claus, and I'm so excited to talk about Santa, aka Tim Allen.
Yes, like we are talking about both the characters Santa Claus and Krampus, and the movies Krampus and Santa Claus. Like, we're gonna watch Krampus after we record this Yule episode for you guys.
I love Santa.
I love Santa. I love woodland Santa. I absolutely love like Veles Santa, like Slavic Santa, like the old guy in the woods with like a blue or a green cloak with like the fur around him.
Spiritually, I love that. Not spiritually, Tim Allen. Like 100%.
Oh yeah, like movies, Tim Allen. Although, what's his face be hot Santa? Goldie Hawn husband?
Oh hell yeah!
He hot
Kurt
Santa.
Russell.
Kurt Russell.
He
hot
literally.
Santa.
Last year, because you know I had nothing better to do. I read a whole list of the top 15 hottest Santa Clauses, and Kurt Russell was number one.
Yeah,
obviously, and then I'm pretty sure Tim Allen was like number 2 or number 3. I could see that in a weird way. Is that weird?
He looked too much like my dad.
But I'm pretty sure Billy Bob Thornton was also in the top 5.
I get that.
I do.
Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah. Well, Corey and I watched this show that he's in on Amazon called like Goliath or something.
Is he still cute?
He aged well.
He did, because the last I saw him was
he does not look like a Sling Blade no mo. He's not eating your taters. He's not eating your French fried taters.
Maybe I want him to.
Oh, well, we have 2 different Billy Bobs, okay?
No, I'm just
I know.
But the last I saw him was in like Bad News Bears and Bad Santa, and I think that was a good like 15 years ago, honestly.
I feel like he aged well. Like he definitely looked better as Bad Santa than he does in the show on Amazon, but he aged well, guys.
Wasn't he married to Angelina Jolie? They did some weird shit.
Yeah.
They were. I saw a meme that said Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly are the Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie of this generation, and I could unfortunately see that. Yeah,
100%. Oh.
But anyway, Yule. So this Yuletide, I am going to be focusing on my kitchen and making my kitchen magical in a place where my family wants to spend time. I am blessed to have bought a house. Woohoo! I just had to throw that out there. My first house. With a big ass fucking kitchen. So big I can put my kitchen table in it, and we still have room to walk around and not bump into each other. I love the size of my kitchen. Know if I could just make it pretty enough to show you guys.
I love my kitchen. It's one of the reasons I bought my house, like having the double oven. Like we have a pie oven and an oven for cooking your bird or whatever. Like I love it, and I've got a rotisserie oven now too.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah.
So I mean, the kitchen is a great place for the home, and it's a great place for Yule celebration. Right. But like, I definitely like when it comes to Yule, one of my favorite things is decorating my home for Yule. I love to deck the halls with boughs of holly, motherfuckers. But my boughs of holly are all like sparkly and shit.
I never do. I've never have. Actually, this is the first year we've had a Yule tree, and I'm trying to call it a Yule tree because it isn't specifically a Yule tree because the star I chose is woodland.
Yeah,
woodland themed.
And I love it because we have woodland themed stars in circles for both above our hearth and our front door that I bought and my husband bought on the same day separately without knowing the other one bought them at 2 different stores, and they're not identical by any means, but they are exactly the same kind of thing, and I think it's the same theme as like your woodland star.
Right. It's like it's to me those are Yule-y as opposed to like the gaudy reminds me very much of Catholicism. You know what I mean?
The gold angels.
The gold angels. I prefer the woodland.
We had an angel for my tree that my grandmother Ellen sewed, like when I was growing up, and like that was like the coveted, right? But she was a doll, like she was a fabric doll.
Oh, really?
That my grandmother sewed and you put on the
we
top.
had an angel, I think, for a little bit, but I don't know.
My mom likes an angel on the top, but we for years, and I don't think that'll ever change. We have a seashell star that we put on the top of our tree.
Oh, I love that.
Because I am a Florida girl, all down. Like, honestly, one time when we're down in Florida, we got to buy me a palm tree that I can decorate for Christmas.
I love that.
I love palm trees and Christmas lights. It's like my favorite thing. And being a Futurama fan, I love that that's their Christmas tree too. Because in Futurama, all the Christmas trees are extinct because everybody cut them down at Christmas time and they didn't all get replanted. Not that I'm trying to guilt you, I'm sorry.
No, anyway. I got a plastic tree this year. It's our first tree. Definitely plan to reuse and reuse and reuse. And when we can eventually afford and, have smaller kids or bigger kids that won't die if it falls on them, we'll get a bigger tree and that'll go into my son's. I had a point with that. I had a fucking point.
About not cutting down trees because I was kind of guilting people about that.
I hate using plastic trees because honestly, both are equally dangerous.
Right, a lot of people just like use them one year and then
throw them out and they end up in landfills. And then you have the people that cut down the trees. Right. And, first of all, my husband is so allergic to evergreens.
Right. So, which is why a palm tree could be your Christmas tree.
Totally. And I'm like, what else?
Yeah, no, like, here's the thing. Like, the Yule thing is bringing evergreens in, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's evergreen, does it matter what evergreen it is? The whole point is bringing the evergreens into your home to represent that taking care of nature and the nature's cycle going through, like, the sun is going to come back. Like Yule is, for those of you who don't know, Yule is the longest night of the year, just like midsummer is the longest day of the year. Yule is the longest night. So once you get through Yule night, you're kind of scot-free. The sun's coming back now. The days start getting longer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like in the Wiccan tradition, the oak or the holly.
The Holly King.
The Holly King is defeated by the Oak King, correct?
One or the other wins.
Man, it's so hard to remember because it doesn't make sense.
I think it is the Oak King because I imagine it would be the Holly God, but I'm wrong.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? That's what it is, because that's why I'm trying to say it so carefully and not speak too fast.
Right.
Because I think the Holly King's taking over, but no, the Oak King is winning right now because the sun is coming back after Yule night.
Right.
And that's the thing to remember, because Yule is originally from, specifically Yule, right? Because we'll talk a little bit about Saturnalia and Koliada.
Yeah.
Right, but so not winter solstice, but Yule itself is a Germanic thing. Winter solstice is the longest night. Mm-hmm. But Yule and winter solstice generally coincide. So a lot of people say them, but we want you guys to know we're going to use these terms interchangeably.
Right, exactly.
So,
thank you so
sorry to confuse anybody. Maybe take notes right now at the beginning while we're being clear.
So somebody put it to me in the sense that when I was already a practicing pagan, but I was a practicing witch, but I was a solitary, and I started branching out and meeting the other pagans in the community, and someone told me, and I thought this was really cool, Christians celebrate the birth of the Son of God. We celebrate the birth of the Sun God.
Yeah, you
know
say that,
I mean?
and I love it.
I do, because
it's accurate. I mean, it is.
Yes.
But also, like, so when you look at the gods that are associated with Yule or Koliada, Koliada is the Slavic Christmas, and then even Saturnalia, it's all gods that are they deal with some form of chaos.
Oh yeah, I mean, Saturn is literally Kronos.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
and then Veles, he is the Slavic god of the underworld as well as the earth and the waters. And then Odin, he is the all god.
Oh, I forgot my mug. I'm so sorry. Look at Amber's mug. We got matching ones.
Yes.
Mine's a gingerbread.
Yeah, make sure that you follow us on Instagram at Witches Talking Tarot and Twitter at Classiest Witches. We're going to get some pictures with our mugs when we watch Krampus.
Yes,
so you'll get to see Maddie's. Because hers is so cute. It's got gingerbread men.
I love it. But anyway, as you were saying, it all has to do with chaos. But Saturn/Kronos is also a agricultural god as well.
Yes, which that as far as Velas goes, he's the god of cattle.
Right. So
I mean, in a way, that's agriculture. I don't know if it's specifically, but I like the crossovers between them all.
I do too, and I think the reason why, like,
I wish I knew more about Odin. Sorry, guys.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I can't remember my research that I did before this, but I'm pretty sure
Odin
with Kronos and Saturn, it's because it's going to be like not crop season again soon, but like the ability to the earth is coming alive again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, you get what I'm saying. He gets to put his energy out there into it.
So they can grow.
Use his energy.
Yes, exactly.
And then they're going to put him back away because he is chaos. Just like Veles, he is the Slavic Santa Claus. He's the Slavic god that's associated with Christmas time, and post-Christianization, he is the Slavic god that was kind of demonized and turned into a devil / Krampus-like creature. But he's associated with like the wilderness and wolves and bears and cattle. He's a chimera. They believe in some legends that he turns into a dragon and eats the cattle. But in other practices, he's the protector of cattle. And I think that solely has to do with the underworld. Yeah, exactly. He's the god of the underworld and the god of the earth and waters. So it's like that whole cycle, that whole like going through the whole thing. And Odin, he gave up his eye to get knowledge for the people, right? It's that whole cycle of things, right? And then Saturn, Kronos, right?
Yes, Saturn is Kronos.
And Kronos, I mean, we did an episode on him. Why can't I remember? Like, he kind of got a bad rap.
Yeah,
that's the episode. He's not that bad of a guy. It was all anyway, listen to the episode.
But no, like, Kronos is
every time I say that about Gaia, I feel guilty.
I mean,
so I'm just
he ate his children.
Right,
but
like, he was kind of
be
poisoned in his head.
Right, exactly. Like, and he's the god of agriculture. So, like, when Kronos ruled,
everything was great. It was a Garden of Eden.
It was the golden age, quote unquote.
Exactly.
Like, it was Garden of Eden on Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Check out that episode.
It was a good one. It was the first myth episode where we didn't cast.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And I'm glad we chose that name because we both are like, he got a bad rap.
He really did. It was all Gaia. But I'm not going to say what I said back then. Go listen. I'm not saying it again. I feel bad every time I say it. Because she's like the ultimate earth goddess in the Greek. And I don't want to be too disrespectful because I'm an earth bitch. Also an episode. Go listen. Season 1. If you're new to us with Season 2, there's a lot of great content in Season 1. But back to Yule. In Saturnalia, if I remember correctly, there is the reversal of roles. So all of the slaves, we're going to use that's what they were. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody. Like, my people were definitely slaves as well at one point or another. But in the ancient times, there were slaves in the Roman world, and at Saturnalia, the slaves
I almost said something. I don't...
They got to be served by their masters, and their masters gave them money so they could go buy gifts. Right, and it was all about fortune.
Exactly.
It was all about sharing.
I'm sorry, you guys.
And it's like the original from gift giving.
Like, I'm sorry. I just have to disclaimer. I don't remember what it was. That's why I stopped like that.
Oh my gosh, like, and I'm sorry, like, I don't mean to minimize, it's just, I'm not going to jump around the word either, because you guys, you know what they were too, and if I say servant, then somebody's going to be upset because they weren't servants. Exactly. You're right, they were slaves, and we're just going to be honest about it. We don't agree with that.
Oh, no.
We're not okay with it. As a Slavic person, I'm totally against it, but that's just like, to tell the role reversal appropriately, I just wanted to get that out there. And it was a wonderful thing that they did at that time of year. Obviously, it should have been a different lifestyle in general, but we can't change the past. We can only do what we can to affect the future. So, in addition, they gave gold coins and oranges, right, to represent the sun?
Yes. They also untied a Saturn, because Saturn is usually bound in chains, because, you know, that's what Zeus did.
Yeah.
So they would unchain him and parade him throughout the streets as the once a fucking year he actually gets to, like, come up out of Tartarus. And, like, right? He was thrown in Tartarus, right? And walk around and be free once more.
So fucked up to do to a god, man. Like, that's what I'm laughing about.
Oh,
like, that's just wrong. Yeah.
Well, technically, he was a Titan.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Well, okay. The father of the gods. He just birthed the gods. Anyway, I mean, no matter who it was. But, I mean, Marsana gets a bad rap, too, and they parade her through the streets, and then they set her on fire. So, I mean, lots of messed up things happen to the gods. I think that's why they're the gods. I don't know. Or Titans. Was she a Titan or a
Gaia was, in fact, a Titan.
Okay.
Yes. So there are a few Titans that weren't punished with Kronos. Gaia being one of them. Arguably, Hecate as well, depending on the myth. Mm-hmm. I like to believe that maybe she was, but anyway, but those are the only two that I can think of.
Yeah. So, are there any other Saturnalia?
Oh, okay. So they would bring in tree branches.
Yes.
Just like Christmas trees. So they would bring them in, they would decorate them, and it would be as if they were like inviting
the halls with boughs of
right. Like, also, don't know if you guys know this, Egyptians had Christmas trees as well.
Yes, they brought evergreens in. Thank you.
Yes, they did. They brought shit into their house, and it was really cool. So, like, basically all over the world, there's all sorts of solstice celebrations, all sorts of Yuletide Christmassy celebrations.
Yep. And most of them involve bringing evergreens of some sort into the home to decorate the home, to represent the cycle of life continuing and nature taking care of us as we take care of nature, which I find to be very beautiful. I love that that's a worldwide tradition. I do too.
I love that. I love when traditions like that have many different, it's not just like Yule is a big one, and then what would you say Easter / Ostara is the other really big one?
I would say. I would. I would.
All different, usually they're very connected, but like for me, Ostara and Easter, like, they don't really connect too much.
Right, but and as far as like Ostara goes, there's so many different cultures that have a celebration at the same time of the year. The fact that it's the equinox, it's the not autumnal. What's the spring equinox called? There's a word for it, and now I can't remember.
I have no idea.
Sorry,
I know what you're talking
but anyway,
about,
yeah, vernal. There we go, the vernal equinox. And so, as far as other places is winter solstice celebrations, obviously I'm going to talk about Koliada or Koleda just a little bit. It's the Slavic pagan winter solstice celebration, and they bring us caroling just like we have over in the Welsh areas.
Sorry.
No, I love it. I do, because like they go door to door, they sing. Sometimes they also give wheat, fresh wheat, like as whatever to the people they're singing to, and then those people give them candy or money or gifts, depending on the region.
Like trick-or-treaters, like.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that brings me to, so this time of year, I'm sorry, like, I do not mean to interrupt, but European Yule and Christmas are kind of scary.
Yup.
Like, that shit's fucking
They are.
terrifying.
I meant to look up the fucking puka because I know that's a Celtic, scary Christmas thing.
Well, because people die during this time of year.
Exactly.
Like, it's a traditionally, they tell ghost stories, right?
Right, yes. And, like, the puka, there's, like, this thing where, like, it goes through, like, if you're out at nighttime during Yuletide, like, the puka might come and fucking kill you. Or it's gonna, like,
Odin.
fuck with the crops. Yeah, we'll get there with the wild
Oh,
hunt.
I'm sorry. No, spoiler alert. Check out next week.
Yeah, can't wait. Excited. I love the wild hunt. But, like, it is dark and it is scary.
It is very scary. Mary
know,
motherfucking, what is it?
Mary Lode. Yeah, Mary Lode, Mary
shit.
Lode.
No,
yeah.
dude, when Sean one of our, like, super
shout
listeners,
out Sean.
hey, Sean, he's like, fuck that shit. I was like, same.
Right?
Like, you are not allowed in.
I feel
I'm scared
it. Like,
of Muppets, you guys, and that is a Muppet.
Right.
Like,
beyond that, like, any horse that arrives at my house singing, I'm done. I'm done.
Have to walk
I'm
away.
done. I'm not singing back at you. I don't want you to come in and ransack my kitchen. I'm done. Like, that's some scary shit.
I will say, I saw this funny fucking video. It was like, kid sees Mary Lode for the first time, and it was so bad. It was like when kids see Santa Claus for the first time. You know how they cry and scream?
Yeah, I bet that went way worse than that.
Oh,
right?
yeah, he was like hiding behind the fucking
He's, like,
couch.
terrified,
Like,
right?
I mean, that's so horrible.
It's terrible.
That's like kids with the Easter Bunny, dude.
So I don't remember this from, like, Yule readings, but for Koliada, some places have bonfires in their city centers.
Yeah. I think that's a Celtic thing as well.
I was thinking so too, but I forgot to look up too much Celtic. Sorry, guys.
So I did see a thing.
I'm all about the Slavs.
I don't know what your opinion is on this. I saw this on Facebook earlier, and it was like, there are no specific Celtic traditions, because Celtic covers multiple different tribes that have different beliefs, but they're so similar.
So I've seen that kind of thing, but I don't know that every region is going to be slightly different. Just like, I mean, look at America.
The Native Americans are all so different, but also slightly similar.
Right? And I was just going to go with American accents. Like, you get a Louisiana person from the Bayou and a New York guy from, like, downtown New York, Brooklyn, the Bronx, whatever. You have them have a conversation. There's going to be overlaps that work, and there's going to be overlaps that don't work. And it's regional. Does that make sense? Like, am I making sense, guys?
Like, this motherfucker is talking so goddamn fast.
Right? And then you throw in the guy from Appalachia who's like, what the shit is going on here? I'm just saying. Dude, right? No. And then you got the guy from Montana
and then
who's
the guy from Bayou starts talking fucking French, and they're like, whoa, what's real?
What the fuck? Yeah.
Because it's not normal French either,
right,
y'all.
It's Creole. Like,
it's Cajun.
Dude, I love me some Bayou country. Please do not think we are making fun. It is my favorite part of this country.
I read that it's a dying language now because,
Creole?
grandparents and parents aren't teaching their kids, and so it's slowly dying out, which I hate.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm all about tradition, guys. Like, I've made a lot, like Maddie talked about making her own Yule family traditions. You know, when I decided that we were going to celebrate Yule in my household, we had a lot of traditions. We always had a duck. We always made we made a craft, because that's a big thing for Yule, is making things, right? We always burned a Yule log. Like, so back before my beliefs changed and I still got a Christmas tree every year, we always saved the tree from the year before, and then we burned it for Yule. My husband would allow me to burn it inside because it was the Yule log, but otherwise you don't burn that kind of wood in a fireplace. I know.
Really? Does it get too hot?
Yeah. And it leaves too much residue, so, like, it can cause a fire in your flue and shit. Whatever, I'm a witch, I'm not a flu person. My husband gets so mad at me.
Oh, I was thinking Harry Potter.
Flu powder.
Oh, that's why they call it that. Oh my god, that went over my fucking head because it's a flu, like, it's in the fireplace.
Yeah.
That's
you
why
saw EW, didn't you? Like, flu, like you fly.
Right, that's what I thought, but no, it's
a flu. Yeah, flu for the chimney. Yeah, my husband gets so mad at me because he's like, you can't burn this shit in the fireplace. It's It's fine.
Just once a year.
It's fine. But yeah, like, it's great to make your own traditions because even the old traditions that we know of, they've been changed throughout history.
Absolutely.
Like,
and
they got written down by people who wanted to put their own spin on things.
Well, you can incorporate old traditions into your new traditions as well, which is where the Yule, celebrating Yule as a modern pagan, a modern witch, if you identify as such, comes into play. Like you said, you did it once a year, probably definitely no more than that, but like, the baking and shit, like, one of the traditions I do want to start this year is making baking gifts for friends and family, which I'm sure they did a long ass fucking time ago.
Oh, absolutely. Because, like, a long ass time ago, sugar and butter and all the things that take to make a baked good, that was like precious stuff. Like, you worked extra hard. Like, back in the day, like, you know, like a mom would set aside a little bit of yarn here and a little bit of yarn here so they can make their kid something special.
Exactly.
And little girls would work really hard. I know. It's like that I'm picturing in my head.
Dude, like Little House on the Prairie, when they get peppermint and they're like, oh my God, candy.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I know. Well, and for me, it's Little Women where she's like, butter? You got butter, mother? Or maybe it's where is the butter? Either way, it was like, what do you mean butter? Like, butter is a staple. And it's a specialty, guys.
I think this
back
year,
then anyway.
And maybe continuing on, I don't know. But as we talk now, I just had it pop into my head. I would like to take time, not like a shit ton of time, because I ain't got time, but like maybe 5 or 10 minutes sometime during the Yule's time to be grateful for the conveniences that we fucking have, because Yule, lots of people fucking died because it was cold.
Yep, that's why it is associated with some of these death gods. And,
gods. Or they say Odin or whoever will take you if you're out walking.
Exactly, because people would get lost in the snow and freeze to death.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or like, just like, you know, we talked about when we did like our fertility episodes, how like you had babies at a certain time of year so that they were more likely to survive this time of year because babies were the most vulnerable. They had the least body fat.
Exactly.
You know, they depend on their mother's milk, you know, for the most part.
And you have to be properly, like, you have to be properly
fed to feed your baby, because your body's not going to produce milk. It's going to keep you alive. So you can't keep your baby. Oh my God, I can't even continue that conversation. But I love that idea from that standpoint, because like with Koliada, one of the things that I wanted to mention is in addition to the other things that we think of with Christmas caroling and other celebrations of like food and drink, they take time to celebrate the dead at Koliada. It's still just like at Samhain when we are taking time to honor the dead. At Koliada, in the wintertime, they take time to honor the dead because people die at this time of year. Like even now, statistically speaking, not just the rate of, trigger warning, suicides, not just the rate of suicides goes up, but all deaths go up at this time of year because the stress induced. I think we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, it's stressful to practice an Americanized capitalistic Christmas.
And not only that, this is 100% true, because my mother-in-law works in the hospital. Christmas and Thanksgiving are the #1 year for deaths in diabetics and people with high blood pressure, because I think people think to themselves, it's just one day. You know, I'm going to celebrate today. It's just one day, and then it doesn't work out. So that has a lot to do with the deaths as well. Yeah. Like health.
I mean, the diet
mental
piece.
Health, physical health. It's all about, it's crazy.
It is crazy, but
would you say the veil is still very much been around this time. Maybe not as much as it was on Samhain, but it's still probably at its thinnest that it's going to be.
So 2 things to say to that. One, I would say I believe it is still as thin now as it is at Samhain, which is why the wild hunt is able to happen, why Krampus can come around, why Santa Claus has his magic, all
why there's ghosts everywhere.
Exactly.
Right. Marley and Marley.
But also, I had read this thing from Tarot Peter Reader, or Peter Tarot Reader.
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
And he had put out a thing that was like, y'all talking about the veil is thin. It's always fucking thin. That's why it's called a fucking veil. And I was like, bam, that fucking resonated. So my new belief is this time of year, less sensitive people are able to feel the veil.
That makes sense. Like, I agree to an
because there is a
extent.
difference in this time of year. The air is different.
Right.
So I think there is a difference, but it's not so much the veil, it's our perception. That's my new opinion.
Maybe.
That's my new thought process because of reading that from him.
Well, and maybe that's
'Cause it
where
made
witches
sense.
are sensitive all year round.
Exactly. But like I can feel the change in the air. Like
Oh,
I
absolutely.
feel the change in the air. Like once Mabon comes around, you can feel
You can feel it in the water. You can feel it in the...
Are we doing Pocahontas?
I was actually trying to do Lord of the Rings,
Oh,
but I can't remember. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the what?
I don't know because I was like, I heard the Pocahontas song in my head, you know.
Which paint with all the colors in the way.
Yeah. But so go ahead.
I think that we're at a standstill with Yule. I just know that like I'm going to be focusing a lot on my kitchen witchery this season personally. That's
like I have come to like a new place in life with this season, right? Like it used to be all about presents and gifts and I want for Christmas and this is what I want for Christmas. And now it's like, you know, what I want for Christmas is for everybody else to have a good Christmas. Like I'm the mom that's the Christmas magic. And so I just want to be good at the magic. You know what I mean? And like, I always want to up my game in some way, shape, or form. And this year, it's going to be a heartfelt upping versus any kind of, oh, this gift will make them happy.
a feast of memories as opposed to like a feast of gifts.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, there's probably still about to be a feast. Like, let's be clear. Like,
there is.
You
Like,
know what I mean.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make my in-laws the baked goods again
You
because
should.
like they miss
I'll
them.
send you
They miss
the.
them.
I found a cookbook at my local library, and it was literally a cookbook full of recipes to give as gifts out. And like you had mentioned, there's little tins of like homemade breads you can do. I think that we're gonna try and make these little tarts. There's like lemon lavender tarts. Oh my god. There's little like cocoa bombs and all sorts of things.
And you know, when it comes to Yule, like some of the great associations that you can incorporate into any of your stuff, like, you know, from a hedge witch or a kitchen witch perspective, like nutmeg and clove and allspice and cinnamon and am I missing any herbs? I feel like they're orange. Orange is big.
Orange, lemon.
Lemon. Ginger.
Pretty much any like citrus fruit because it represents the sun and that energy.
Yeah, and then like all the herbs of the season and they bring a lot of them have prosperity and protection.
Star anise. I mean, I'm not really a star anise
I'm not a fan, but it is a
tastes
part
like
of the
licorice.
season.
Yeah.
But cloves and cinnamon and ginger and allspice, they're great. Like you can add any of these little herbs to your cocoa.
Anything with warmth.
Yeah, anything
because
with warmth.
We're channeling that warmth energy.
Light. This is a celebration of fucking light, guys. Like that is my biggest thing with Yule. Every fucking year, no matter how I celebrate it. Like if I'm like, I can't wait to get my menorah. Like I'm getting my menorah, guys. I am. I want a nice one.
She's
that I'm
Jewish. It's
yeah.
okay. It's okay.
I gotta come in from both sides, and I just want to honor my ancestors in every way possible.
I love that.
I know, like I'm really excited to do
L'chaim. Are you gonna say that? Is that the word? Is it L'chaim or is it something else? There's two Jewish words.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov and then
L'chaim. I think they're both appropriate.
I love Jewish words. They have that like.
I watch Hunters on Amazon, and I'm like, yeah!
I like that.
I get so mad, because it's a show about killing, like, the Nazis that came over and started new lives in America, and, like, this sect of, like, people. And they're not all just Jewish people. Some of them aren't Jewish, but they're all hunting down the Nazis that escaped punishment, and they kill them. And it's a great show, and I love it. And it's got Carol Kane. She's one of the old Jewish ladies that went through.
Dude, we didn't even mention fucking, what is it? It starts with an H. Hanukkah.
Yeah, okay, so you want to learn about Hanukkah. I don't feel like we maybe could do it justice necessarily.
I have no idea.
But Malam Bayek, and we'll look up how to spell her name and put it in the notes for you so you can look this up. She has a little, like, I think it's a YouTube clip. And she explains Hanukkah in, like, an amazing way. And Hanukkah itself is a celebration of lights. It's celebrating having light for 8 days instead of 1, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a celebration of perseverance, which, when you think about it, that's what Yule is. It is a celebration of perseverance of the light. Once you make it through the darkest night, you're okay for the rest of the year. And that's what the celebration's all about. That's why you got the biggest Yule log you could, because you wanted it to burn throughout the night. And it brought you good luck, and you saved the ashes. And you can, like, honestly, guys, if you do a Yule log, like, save the ashes. Use it for your spell work. Like, that's some powerful magic.
Oh, yeah, you can make black salt with it.
Yeah, you can. Like, because, like, a Yule log is the log from the tree from the year before, right? So you saved it all year. You preserved this thing. You cared for it for a fucking year. And now you're utilizing it to keep you warm on the coldest night, on the longest night. And then you use all of that intention in your spell work for the following year. Like, I'm sorry, that just came to me, but I fucking love it.
I do love that.
Yeah, I don't do a Yule log anymore because now we're doing a potted tree because of my new beliefs, and I feel bad cutting down a tree. So we have a potted tree that we're going to raise for a couple years, and then it's going to be planted in the ground, and we're going to buy another potted tree. And we'll probably keep decorating the other one because I don't want it to feel left out, like, oh, you got too big to get decorated? No. Halloween is for everybody, and so is Yule. You can still be decorated. Get it? I thought it was funny.
So how do you guys plan on celebrating Yule this year? Are you celebrating Yule, Christmas, Hanukkah?
Yes, so just correctly? A winter solstice, an American Christmas.
Are you doing any festive
Saturnalia? Are you going to, like, raise some hell?
Yeah.
Tell us on Twitter.
All right, check us out on Twitter at Classiest Witches. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. We are now 19. Oh, I'm sorry. We are now 19 away from reaching our goal of 100 by the 1st of January. Help us, you guys. We're running out of time.
We're almost there.
Right?
I know.
Hey,
and
Melissa.
Hello, Miss Melissa. Motherfucker, I said your name right the first time. I thought that's where we were leading to.
Sorry.
I fucked it up. No, that was me. That was all me, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just all giddy about we're going to go watch Krampus now.
Yes. All right. So we'll talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye.